maybe you're not right for each other. Sorry? Well, let's talk about dating. Hello, lovely people, and welcome back to Ask Your Lesbian Mothers, the series where Claudia and I answer your questions about relationships, queer life, and generally trying to be a functioning adult. You may notice I'm missing my better half. Claudia is currently downstairs being an incredible mother and letting our two poorly babies nap on her, so today's advice is just coming from one lesbian mother, but better than no lesbian mothers. Although, to be fair, after 12 years together and almost 10 years of marriage, I can usually predict what she'd say anyway. That's not true. You don't know everything about me. Today's questions are all about dating, the awkward first dates, the mixed signals, the panic over whether they like you, wondering if you're being too picky or not picky enough. Dating can be wonderful, and it can also make perfectly intelligent people spend 4 hours analysing whether a full stop at the end of a text message really means someone secretly hates them. Why didn't she put a kiss? Now, I know I haven't dated in over 12 years, 10-year wedding anniversary this year, and we're raising two 1-year-old twin girls plus a 5-year-old son, so definitely not a phase. But you may be thinking, Jessica, what makes you qualified to give dating advice when you haven't dated in a decade? And if you are thinking that, that is fair. But finding my soulmate made me realise all of the things I was doing wrong whilst dating, and I want to impart my wisdom so you don't fall for the same traps. Whether that is dating men, women, or anyone in between. Like, okay, online dating has definitely changed since I was single. What do you mean AI can be my dating matchmaker? Ugh. But if I was online dating now, I'd want to know my internet connection was protected. Introducing the Surfshark VPN, sponsor of today's video. VPN means Virtual Private Network. It's like ordering a very garlicky dinner to protect yourself from kissing that date that you're just not that interested in. It protects your connection whilst keeping your browsing secure and private. But you know, even if you're swiping left and right whilst on a bus or in a cafe, Surfshark VPN goes beyond the home. Your connection remains encrypted when using public and unknown Wi-Fi, keeping you safe when using Wi-Fi in public places. So you can swipe, match, like, or whatever it is they're doing on the apps nowadays, till your heart's content. Plus, with Surfshark's content web blocker, you'll be shielded from nasty web pop-ups. Oh my goodness, no. They have 4,500 servers in 140 locations, which means you can message your new boo safely from any location. Because let's face it, when you start dating and you see their name popping up, you're jumping for your phone and replying in 0.2 seconds. You are definitely at risk of being scammed. Love waits for no one. Try Surfshark now by heading to surfshark.com/Jessica or use code Jessica at checkout to get 4 extra months of Surfshark VPN for free. Or if it's easier, you can scan the QR code on screen right now where my beautiful wife should be. Thank you to everyone who sent questions via our couple's Instagram at Jessie and Claude. So let's save ourselves a little emotional energy, shall we? Question 1. Does she really like me? Ooh, an age-old question. I've had a huge crush on a friend of a friend for a while, and I think she might like me too, or she's just really friendly. How do I know if someone actually likes me or they're just being nice? Yes. Your brain desperately wants certainty. Unfortunately, dating doesn't provide much of it. I think one of the biggest mistakes that we make is treating dating like detective work. We analyse every emoji. We ask our friends. We build elaborate theories. Why did it take her 22.3 seconds to reply? What are those dots meaning? But meanwhile, we've just forgotten the obvious solution. Ask? Dun dun dun, I know. So old school, so scary. But if someone consistently makes time for you, seems enthusiastic to see you, and follows through on what they say, they're either a really lovely person and friend who will not be offended by you wanting to just clarify the vibe, or they're actually into you too. And that's usually much better evidence than whether they used 1x or 3 or 2. 2 seems so intentional, doesn't it? The takeaway, look for consistency, not clues, and then be brave. Question 2. Is this a red flag or am I overthinking? Ooh, thoughts on this one. I've been seeing this girl for a few months and she's lovely in person, but she takes ages to reply at messages and sometimes she just disappears for a day or two. She says she's just bad at texting, but it makes me anxious. Am I overthinking this? Firstly, your feelings are not an inconvenience. If something's making you anxious consistently, then yes, that matters. I don't think you should try and crush that down. And I think that we should take care in what we do to not make other people feel awful. Now, some people genuinely are terrible at texting, and I, for example, will read a message, think out the reply, type out the reply, and then simply just not press send. So ADHD crew, unite. But that is to people who are messaging like, happy birthday, or saw this and thought of you, rather than, honey, do you need me to pick up the nappies? You know, the important stuff in life. There's a difference between being a bit rubbish at replying and creating a pattern that leaves someone feeling uncertain. In a relationship, especially early on, you are gathering data, and the data here is this dynamic's making you feel unsettled. So rather than asking of yourself, am I overthinking? I would just gently suggest asking, what do I need to feel secure? And then, this is the radical part, you tell her. Because the right person doesn't need to be perfect, but they need to care about how their behavior affects you. And if she doesn't care about upsetting you, then she isn't the person for you, even if you really, really like her. Question 3. Should I go on a second date if I don't feel butterflies? Ooh, well. There's this lovely gal I went on a first date with. We had a great kiss at the end. We like all of the same things, have a lot in common. Our goals are really similar, and I think I can see a future with her. But I don't feel butterflies when we're next to each other. Should I just call it off? I am going to say something that the internet may not enjoy. I don't think butterflies are the gold standard. Butterflies can mean excitement. They can also just mean anxiety and uncertainty. They can mean your nervous system is trying to tell you something about how it's not right. Some of the healthiest relationships actually start pretty calmly. So don't panic, it might just be a slow burn. Let it take its time. How many long-term, incredible relationships do you know that started out as friends? Those people didn't have butterflies the very first time that they saw each other, but they built over time a really wonderful relationship. Question 4. My family won't accept my partner. This is going to be sadly familiar for some of you. My parents say they accept me, but keep making excuses when I set up times for them to meet my girlfriend, but have told me she then isn't welcome at family events until they have met her. Every time I try to talk about her, they change the subject. I feel torn between them. What should I do? That is such a painful place to be in, because it's not outright rejection, but it's not acceptance either. It's kind of conditional comfort. And the problem with that is that it puts you in the position of having to split yourself into acceptable pieces when you are not two separate people. You do not have a family-safe version and a real-life version. And side note, please, queerness is family-friendly. Trust me, I have a queer family. So the question becomes, right, what are you willing to tolerate long term? Because if someone says they accept you, but only in ways that are invisible or convenient for them, that's not full acceptance. And your partner deserves to be acknowledged publicly, proudly, and so do you. That doesn't mean you have to cut your family off, but it does mean you can set boundaries. Something like, I love you, but I won't exclude my partner to make things easier. And that's really hard, but you deserve a whole life, not a compartmentalized one. Also, and maybe I'm just coming at this as an old married person with kids, but your life partner is your future. Sorry, family. Question 5. Is it okay to have high standards? How high? I'm starting to feel like I've dated or swiped past every available girl in the city. My friends keep making fun of me for holding out for some impossible dream girl, but isn't it better to just not waste time with someone who doesn't fit what I'm looking for? Well, I think people confuse standards with perfection. My standards are actually incredibly simple, right? Kind, reliable, curious, takes responsibility, likes me, probably owned a skateboard as a teenager. The last one can be negotiated. I don't need someone to tick 50 boxes, but I do need them to treat me and the people around us with kindness. If those are the kind of standards we're talking about, then no, that doesn't make you difficult. It means that you've learned something from 70 awful first dates in a relationship where you just weren't understood. And then your friends should not be making fun of you for that, because that is just a reasonable thing and you would like to spend your life with a reasonable human being. But if those standards are that someone needs to be within an inch of a certain height and a natural blonde, then yes, maybe it is time to rethink. I mean, natural blondes are like 2% of people. Try to go for people with darker hair. Basically everyone. Question 6. Is it too late for me? Not unless you're dead, are you? I'm in my late 20s and only just starting to explore my sexuality. I feel like I missed my chance and everyone else is more experienced than me. 20s, that's what we're considering old now. So I'm genuinely looking forward to my 40s because multiple family members have told me that's apparently when you've sorted your life out and decided who you are. Just a few years. That's fine, I'm gonna get there. I will sort my life out. So no, I promise you there is no deadline for becoming yourself, not even your 50s or 60s or 70s or 80s. You could be 90 and be like, what? I think I might be a lesbian. And you go. there are many wonderful women in that care home. There is this strange myth that everyone else has everything figured out by their early 20s, and it's simply just not true. I don't know anyone who did, other than my brother, but he also married the girl that he's been dating since he was 12. So people are just confidently confused. Also, queer timelines are different. Many of us start later because we didn't have the space to start earlier, or we hadn't even been exposed yet to the terms and identities that click as being us once we hear them. You are arriving exactly when you're meant to, and there's something really wonderful about discovering yourself with a bit more life experience, a bit more confidence, and a bit less tolerance for nonsense. I got married in my mid-20s, and whilst my marriage is definitely the best decision I've ever made, obviously not including my children because they came from my marriage, so anyway, but I definitely look back on my actual wedding day and think, wow, that bit doesn't really reflect who we are as people. If only we'd known ourselves as we do now. Every year you learn more about yourself, and no, you have not missed your chance. It's just that the plot is getting started in chapter 3 instead of chapter 1. I may have mixed some metaphors there. Question 7. How do I know if it's love or just comfort? Interesting. I've been with my partner for years and things are nice, but I don't feel that spark anymore. How do I know if it's still love or just comfort? I think as a culture, we have been sold a slightly unrealistic version of what romantic love is supposed to feel like. Your love should feel different from year 1 to year 5. That constant spark, that's not always sustainable, and honestly it would be exhausting if it was. I actually really like the love that Claude and I have now. It's been, 10 years of marriage, 12 years of dating. She makes my heart squeeze by doing tiny things because I know her. I know her face. I know her feelings. I know her thoughts inside her brain. She looks at me a certain way, or she plays with one of the babies the same way she played with Rupert when he was a baby. And the history there makes the love better and makes the love deeper. But there's a difference between calm, steady love and emotional flatness. If you're not feeling anything other than familiarity, then yes, maybe you start asking questions. Like, do you feel safe, seen and valued? Do you enjoy their presence? Do you choose them, even in the quiet moments? If your love is deep warmth and affection and a healthy, entwining bond, if this is your person, then that is exactly what is meant to come after the fireworks. But if you feel disconnected, disengaged, or like you are just going through the motions, that's worth exploring. Not necessarily in terms of like the relationship is over, but as something here needs attention, something needs to happen. Because long-term love isn't something that you find once and then you just expect it to keep running with no input. It's something you keep building, and year on year it gets better and better and turns into something else, much in the same way that the person you love will not be the same person at the start of your relationship to the end of your relationship, whether that relationship ends in you breaking up or death from old age. But the great thing is that you get every year to fall in love with this new person that they are becoming and that you are becoming, and seeing if you're still better together. Special bonus question, because it has just come through and I think it is excellent. What is one piece of dating advice everyone should ignore? You have to play hard to get. No. No, you don't. No. Especially as someone with ADHD. I cannot play hard to get. If I have a feeling, you will know about it. Do I need to text you something? Okay, here are your 50 paragraphs. If you like someone, it's okay for them to know. If they're put off by the idea of you liking them, then they are not the person for you. I mean, you probably shouldn't text them 50 paragraphs straight away. Maybe get a bit further along. But I do think adulthood becomes a bit nicer once we all just stop pretending that enthusiasm is embarrassing. I hope today's episode made dating feel a little less confusing. Whether you are happily single, nervously dating, hopelessly in love, or part of a very long-term relationship, you are always welcome here on this channel. If you have a question for the next episode of Ask Your Lesbian Mothers featuring 2 mothers, then put it in the comments down below. But I think Claudia is probably exactly where she needs to be today. So today's episode is brought to you by nursery germs, Calpol, and the fact that illnesses don't always check your filming schedule. It's also brought to you by Surfshark. Remember to click the link in the description or use this QR code now on screen to get 4 extra months for free. Thanks, Surfshark, for keeping us all safe from online germs.